We all feel the pressure from deadlines and performance at our jobs. But what happens when one man will do anything for reputation, money, and a fancy pocket watch? That's exactly what happened when acclaimed estate alchemist Joe Tucker became desperate. The acts he would commit would be unthinkable to any parent. Coming from a life of poverty, the man would do anything to maintain his extravagant livelihood, even at the cost of his own family. Even more shockingly, it was not his first time. As if it were not for the presence of two boys, he may have gotten away with his crimes unnoticed. Good morning, good evening, ohayo gozaimasu. Or it's 2 p.m, you should already be out of bed, you lazy sack of shit. My name is Dusk, and welcome to Coffee Shack Anime Crime. Today we'll be examining a startling case of Joe Tucker. If you think it's bad anime feels, then subscribe, so order up a coffee and have a seat. Also, that large white mocha with blonde shots and caramel drizzle and sweet cream cold foam will be $10.95. This is the case of Joe Tucker. Our setting is the alternate universe of Earth, where technology is lackluster and alchemy reigns supreme. The year is 1914. In the country of Amistris, it is home to many of the state alchemists and their families. With a robust population of 50 million, we set our sights on Central City, which is the capital of the country, a bustling city that is the very heart of the military, as safe as a city can be, and to the east is East City. Really creative with the names. The city is home to the estate of the well-established alchemist Joe Tucker, the Sewing Life Alchemist. Here we meet young Nina Tucker. Nina was born on March 31st in East City. She was a bright 5-year-old whose hobbies included drawing and playing with the family dog Alexander. You know, I fancy myself to be a wee bit of an artist. Nina was always shown to be very cheerful and smiling, despite the fact she had been very lonely, with her father always working. It had been 2 whole years since her mother reportedly left the family. Nevertheless, she loved her father very much. Her father was renowned state alchemist Joe Tucker.
Sorry about the mess. We just lack a woman's touch here. Oh, that was sexist, wasn't it?
A quiet and timid-looking man, who by many was known as the Sewing Life Alchemist, due to the fact that he was recorded to be the first alchemist known to transmute a chimera that was capable of human speech, a beast that is half man, half dog, and being praised as one of the most brilliant alchemists in the country. But looking into his background, there's a far more sinister side to the man. It was an early summer morning. The Tucker household was to host up-and-coming boy alchemist Edward Elric and his younger brother Alphonse Elric. They were to train under Tucker in preparation for the state alchemy exam. Upon arriving, Tucker had given the boys full access to his personal library full of books on the subject of alchemy, and the boys quickly bonded with Nina, enjoying dinners and playtime together, even making snow angels on the cold winter days.
I wish you could stay. I mean, after you pass the test, it gets lonely with just Dad.
As months passed, Tucker was struggling to make any progress in recreating his chimera experiment. What came next was the unthinkable, leaving Nina and the Elric brothers completely unaware of the dangers that lied ahead. And life for the Tucker family was about to change in an instant. Well, more or less a few days. I don't know, it's anime, with Edward passing the state alchemist exam and Alphonse dropping out. The brothers became curious on the whereabouts of Tucker's wife. Edward gained access to the state library, trying to find any information on the classified chimera. After failing there, he visited the investigations officer, Mace Hughes. The only thing he knew about the chimera was that it only spoke the words, "I want to die." He also informed Edward that Tucker's wife had died before coming to the Central, a stark contrast to what he was told earlier. Later, Tucker confirms what the Elrics did to their own bodies. Bask Grand then shows up and forbids the brothers to stay at the household due to Edward's snooping.
Where are you going, big brothers? Are you coming back?
Don't worry, we'll come play with you again real soon.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Along with the threat from Grand of the assessment coming in 2 days, it is confirmed that Tucker was already dead set on his choice. On a hunch, the brothers sneak back into the home. It is eerily quiet and devoid of all life. The boys then make their way to the laboratory, and they are greeted with the screams of the fell abominations. But they do find Tucker himself, who invited them to see his new chimera, as promised.
It's a perfect version. A chimera that knows the human tongue.
But this chimera is oddly familiar.
That's your friend Edward. Look.
Edward, friend.
It doesn't take long for Ed to figure it out. Yes, he used his daughter and the dog.
Edward, why does it hurt here?
Tucker finally commits to using his wife in the experiment after an argument. And I know what you're all wondering as to why would anyone do this. Sadly, it wasn't really for the mansion or to take care of his family financially, but mostly because he could. Ed then starts beating Tucker in a fit of rage, and is only stopped by Nina, who is now the Chimera.
No, big brother.
Edward desperately attempts to separate the two, but then is talked out of it.
You promised you'd come play with me.
I know.
Soon after, the military arrives and arrests Tucker and takes the Chimera. Edward then interferes and flips over the car Nina is in. The poor beast then runs off into the darkness. And if you already think that's enough, perhaps it is possible to die twice. Lost and in pain, the Chimera runs into an alleyway where the man known as Ska is hiding, who then takes mercy on her, and after a short prayer, kills her. As for Tucker, the military wasted no time on handling him. There was no trial. He was executed shortly after being apprehended, death by firing squad of the very military he sacrificed everything for. I think what always makes this arc so hard to watch is the relatability, and this is done through the Elrics, as they aren't physically able to do anything to save Nina. Despite having amazing abilities, they just have to watch the gruesome outcome. Nina was a bright and excitable child who was full of life, and who had a lot of life left to live, who the brothers will never forget. Even after 20 years, we still won't forget. May she now rest in peace. If there are any anime crimes you'd like me to cover, leave them in the comments. And if this ever gets back to Joel of Coffeehouse Crimes, all I want to say is, notice me, senpai. Thank you all for watching, and consider subscribing. I try to reply to all the comments I get, and while you're at it, watch a couple of the shorts I have on the channel. They're fun to watch and a lot of work goes into them. So what do you think about this case? Was it the military's fault for not investigating Tucker's original Chimera further? Or was it something they knew the whole time and chose to ignore it? Until next time, look after yourself, look after each other, and of course, stay safe. Thank you, and get out. It's 8 PM and we're closed already.